Emma Turner woke with a jolt. A strange disquiet rippled through her. The sun, slanting through her blinds, felt the same. The chirping birds outside her window sounded the same. Even the musty scent of old books from downstairs felt the same. But something was off. An unsettling familiarity clung to her like a shroud. She shook it off, blaming it on a bad dream.
It was Tuesday, just another day in the sleepy town of Willow Creek. Nothing exciting ever happened here.
She pulled on her favorite jeans and a faded band t-shirt. As she headed downstairs, the feeling intensified.
Morning, sleepyhead.
Her mom's cheerful voice, her dad's muffled cough from behind his newspaper, the scent of burnt toast wafting from the kitchen. It was all too familiar. It was as if she were reliving yesterday. The disquiet morphed into a chilling thought.
What if I was?
She pushed the thought away, joining her parents for breakfast. The radio droned on about a local fair, a fair that she could have sworn had already happened. The unease twisted into a knot of dread in her stomach. Something was deeply, terribly wrong. At school, the feeling intensified. Liam, her best friend, greeted her with his usual bad joke.
Hey, did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He'll stop at nothing to avoid them.
Sophia, her other best friend, was engrossed in the same novel. Even the annoying buzz of the fluorescent lights in the hallway felt like a replay. Emma couldn't shake the growing certainty. This day was repeating. She confided in Liam and Sophia. At first, they laughed it off. But as the day unfolded, with eerie precision, the same pop quiz in history, the same spilled juice in the cafeteria, the same argument between their English teacher and the principal, their amusement faded into disbelief.
This is insane. It's like we're trapped in some twisted movie.
Sophia, usually the voice of reason, was at a loss for words.
But how is this even possible?
She breathed, her hand clutching Emma's. They decided to test their theory. The next day, they deliberately changed their routines, doing things they would never normally do. But their efforts were futile. Wednesday dawned with the same unsettling familiarity, the same events unfolding like a broken record. They were trapped. Determined to break free, they delved into the town's history. Willow Creek, they discovered, harbored a dark secret. An abandoned asylum, perched atop a windswept hill overlooking the town, cast a long shadow over their lives. Locals whispered of unspeakable horrors that took place within its crumbling walls. Legend had it that the asylum was shut down after a fire that claimed the lives of many patients and staff. Some whispered that the fire was no accident, but an act of desperation, a way to contain an evil that had taken root within the asylum.
Do you think the asylum has something to do with this loop?
Sophia asked, her voice barely a whisper. Liam shivered, pulling his jacket tighter around himself.
It's the only lead we have.
He admitted, his gaze drawn to the looming silhouette of the asylum in the distance. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, they decided to investigate. As they approached the asylum, a palpable sense of dread washed over them. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of unseen eyes and unheard whispers. The once grand building now stood decrepit and menacing, its windows like empty sockets staring back at them. If you want to uncover more of Willow Creek's dark secrets, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video.
This place, it's filled with pain. The asylum's interior was a testament to decay and despair. Dust-laden cobwebs clung to every surface, and the musty air was thick with the stench of mildew and decay. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing through the long, empty corridors. As they ventured deeper into the asylum's bowels, they stumbled upon old patient files, medical records detailing disturbing experiments and treatments. The asylum, they realized, was a place of unimaginable suffering. The more they uncovered, the more convinced they became that the loop was connected to the asylum's dark history. The fire, it wasn't an accident. Something was responsible, Emma whispered, her voice trembling. They found a hidden room, its walls covered in strange symbols and diagrams. In the center of the room lay a heavy, iron-wrought key. As soon as Emma touched it, visions flooded her mind. Flashes of a terrifying fire, of patients screaming, of a dark entity feeding off their terror.
The weight of their discovery settled upon them. The loop wasn't just a strange phenomenon, it was a consequence, a manifestation of the asylum's tormented past, and they were trapped within it. The loop's relentless cycle began to take its toll on the friends. The initial thrill of the unknown gave way to a gnawing sense of hopelessness. The weight of their predicament pressed down on them, revealing their deepest fears and secrets.
It's my fault.
Liam, usually the joker of the group, retreated into himself. The loop had resurrected a past he desperately wanted to forget, a drunken car accident that had left his older brother severely injured. The guilt and regret haunted him, amplified by the loop's cruel repetition.
It should have been me, not him.
Emma and Sophia tried to comfort him, but the loop had a way of twisting even the most well-intentioned words. Liam was trapped in his own personal hell, unable to escape the consequences of his past actions. Sophia, the ever-organized and in-control one, found her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. The loop exposed her deepest fear, the fear of being ordinary, of not living up to the expectations she had set for herself. Each repeating day became a painful reminder of her perceived failures. The scholarship she desperately needed seemed further away. Her dreams felt like they were slipping through her fingers.
I'm not good enough.
Tears streamed down her face as she confessed.
I'm never going to be good enough.
The loop, it seemed, had a way of magnifying their insecurities, turning their deepest fears into their harshest realities. Even Jake, the new kid in town who had joined their group just before the loop began, wasn't immune. He carried a secret, a burden that the loop threatened to expose. He had run away from home, fleeing from an abusive father. The loop's repetition brought back the fear, the helplessness, the desire to disappear.
I can't go back there. I'd rather be stuck here forever.
His fear was palpable, a constant reminder that the loop wasn't just a temporal anomaly. It was a prison of their own making, fueled by their deepest fears and regrets. As the days bled into weeks, Emma realized they weren't alone in their struggle. The townspeople, they discovered, were also affected by the loop. Their lives, however, were frozen in a horrifying tableau of their worst transgressions. The baker was forever caught stealing from the till, the sheriff perpetually accepting a bribe, the teacher eternally silencing a student's voice.
They're trapped too, trapped by their own guilt and shame.
She understood then. The loop wasn't just about the asylum, it was about the town, about the darkness that festered beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic lives. The asylum was merely a conduit, a focal point for the collective guilt and secrets that bound them all. They returned to the asylum, the iron key heavy in Emma's hand. It led them to a hidden chamber beneath the building, a chamber pulsating with a dark, malevolent energy. There, chained to the wall, they found the source of the loop, a figure consumed by shadows, its eyes burning with an unholy light. The figure spoke, its voice a raspy whisper that seemed to slither into their minds. It fed on their fear, their guilt, their secrets. It reveled in their despair, their inability to forgive themselves and others. It was a manifestation of their collective darkness, a twisted reflection of their own flawed humanity.
You are bound to this place, bound by your sins, your regrets, your inability to atone.
Emma realized the truth in its words. The loop wasn't a punishment inflicted upon them. It was a prison of their own creation. They were trapped not by some external force, but by their own unwillingness to confront their demons, to forgive themselves and each other. To break the loop, they had to confront not only the entity, but also the darkness within themselves and their community. They had to acknowledge their flaws, their mistakes, and seek redemption. One by one, they confronted the townspeople, forcing them to face their reflections in the loop. It was a painful, agonizing process, but slowly cracks began to appear in the cycle.
The baker confessed his theft, the sheriff admitted his corruption, the teacher apologized for his silence.
With each act of contrition, the entity weakened, its power diminishing as the townspeople confronted their pasts. The loop began to falter, the repetitions becoming less frequent, the air less heavy. Finally, they returned to the asylum, to the heart of the loop. The entity, weakened but still defiant, made one last attempt to break their spirits. But they were no longer afraid. They had faced their demons, both internal and external, and emerged stronger. With a shared act of forgiveness and acceptance, they severed the entity's hold on them. The loop shattered, the asylum fell silent, and a new dawn broke over Willow Creek. The town was forever changed. The scars of the past remained, but they were now badges of courage, reminders of their shared struggle and their collective redemption.
We faced the darkness and emerged into the light, forever bound by our experience, forever grateful for the second chance we had been given.
I don't think people understand the true nature of Silver Heights, a name that conjures images of grandeur and elegance, a place where dreams are said to come true. The name itself dripped with a deceptive beauty, a siren's call to the unsuspecting. From afar, the city shimmered, a beacon of progress and hope. Its skyline, a testament to human ambition, reached for the heavens. But beneath the gleaming facade, a darkness festered. The shadows of Silver Heights were not just cast by the towering buildings, but by the lives crushed beneath them. The streets, choked with smog and despair, were a labyrinth of broken dreams, whispered tales of forgotten dreams and broken promises. Each corner held a story, each alley a secret. It was a city that could crush the soul, grind it down to dust beneath its uncaring heel. The weight of the city was felt in every breath, every step, grind it down to dust beneath its uncaring heel. The relentless march of time and neglect left its mark on every surface.
I knew this truth all too well. Growing up in Silver Heights, I had seen the city's dual nature firsthand. Growing up in the shadow of Silver Heights' towering skyscrapers, my life was a constant struggle against the encroaching darkness. The city's beauty was a mask, hiding its true face. My life was a constant struggle against the encroaching darkness. Every day was a battle, every night a test of endurance. I had seen firsthand the city's corrosive touch, the way it could turn decent people into desperate shadows. Friends, neighbors, even family members were not immune to its grasp. The way it could turn decent people into desperate shadows. The city had a way of consuming hope, leaving only despair in its wake. Now, the city had taken something precious from me, my brother Alex. He was more than just a sibling. He was my anchor in this turbulent sea. He had vanished into the labyrinthine streets, another victim swallowed by the urban abyss. The city had claimed him, just as it had claimed so many others. Another victim swallowed by the urban abyss. The shadows seemed to have a life of their own, reaching out to ensnare the unwary. The police, jaded and overworked, had dismissed his disappearance as just another runaway case. To them, he was just another statistic, another lost soul in a city full of them. But I refused to give up hope. I would find Alex, even if it meant facing the darkest corners of Silver Heights alone. My determination was my only weapon against the encroaching darkness, even if it meant facing the darkest corners of Silver Heights alone. The city had taken so much from me, but it would not take my hope.
She clutched the crumpled flyer in her hand, the words "missing person" a constant reminder of her relentless quest. Each crease in the paper was a testament to her desperation. The words "missing person" a constant reminder of her relentless quest. The face on the poster was a haunting echo of happier times. The city held its breath, a silent observer to her grief and determination. The fog seemed to close in, as if the city itself was watching her every move. Evelyn would find her brother. She had to. The city had taken so much, but it would not take her resolve. Even if it meant confronting the shadows themselves. She would walk through the darkest alleys, face the most terrifying corners, and she would not stop until she found him. If you want to join Evelyn on her journey and uncover more of Silver Heights' secrets, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Your support means everything. Stay tuned for more chapters and help us spread the word. Together, we can shine a light on the shadows.
My quest had become an obsession. Every waking moment was consumed by thoughts of Alex, and even in my dreams, his face haunted me. The search for him had taken over my life, leaving no room for anything else. I had to find him, no matter the cost. Days bled into nights, the city's rhythm a relentless drumbeat against my raw nerves. The constant hum of traffic, the distant sirens, and the chatter of people all blended into a cacophony that mirrored the chaos in my mind. I wandered the streets, my eyes scanning every face, hoping for a glimpse of Alex. I scoured the streets, my face a familiar sight in the grimy diners and smoky bars that Alex frequented. Each place held a memory, a fragment of our past. But now they were just shadows of what once was. I spoke to anyone who would listen, asking questions, following leads, but always coming up empty-handed. Each dead end, each whispered rumor chipped away at my resolve, leaving me feeling hollow and lost. The weight of despair settled heavily on my shoulders, and there were moments when I wondered if I would ever find him. But giving up was not an option. I had to keep going for Alex's sake. But one lead, however, offered a glimmer of hope. It was a small, almost insignificant detail, but it was enough to reignite the fire within me. A name, a place, a clue that could potentially unravel the mystery of Alex's disappearance. A faded tattoo on the arm of a known informant pointed to a shadowy organization known only as The Game. The tattoo was a symbol, a mark of those who had been drawn into its dark web. It was a dangerous lead, but it was the only one I had. Rumors swirled around it, whispers of a twisted competition where the stakes were life and death. The Game was said to be a place where the desperate went to find salvation, but more often than not, they found only despair. It was a world of shadows and secrets, and I was about to step into it. The informant, his voice raspy and low, claimed that Alex had gotten involved with the Game just before his disappearance. I knew the risks. The stories I had heard were enough to make anyone think twice, but I had no choice. Alex was in danger, and I had to find him. The Game was said to prey on the desperate, offering them a chance at salvation while dragging them further into the darkness. It was a cruel irony, a twisted promise that lured people in with the hope of escape, only to ensnare them in a web of deceit and danger. But what choice did I have? The thought of Alex trapped in that world, alone and afraid, was more than I could bear. I had to find him, even if it meant risking everything. The fear gnawed at me, but the love I had for Alex was stronger. I had to find Alex, even if it meant venturing into the heart of the city's underbelly. The streets grew darker, the shadows longer, as I made my way deeper into the unknown. Every step was a step closer to danger, but also a step closer to finding Alex.
Clutching the informant's cryptic message, an address scrawled on a torn piece of paper, Evelyn felt a surge of adrenaline. The address was a beacon, a destination that held the promise of answers. It was a small piece of the puzzle, but it was enough to give her hope. Evelyn felt a surge of adrenaline. Her heart raced as she thought about what lay ahead. The fear was there, but so was the determination. She had come too far to turn back now. Every fiber of her being was focused on one goal: finding Alex. It was a dangerous gamble, but it was her only chance. The risks were high, but the stakes were even higher. Alex's life was on the line, and she couldn't afford to fail. The thought of losing him forever was unbearable. She hailed a cab, the city lights blurring past as she sped towards the unknown. The rain-soaked streets reflected the turmoil in her heart, a mix of fear and hope. The journey was a blur, a rush of emotions and thoughts as she prepared herself for what was to come. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic rhythm against the backdrop of the city's relentless pulse. The anxiety was almost overwhelming, but she pushed it aside. She had to stay focused, had to keep her wits about her. There was no room for doubt or hesitation. She was walking into the lion's den. The alleyway was dark and foreboding, the shadows seeming to reach out and grab at her. But she walked with purpose, her steps steady and sure. She was ready to face whatever lay ahead, but she wouldn't back down. Not now, not when Alex's life hung in the balance. The determination in her eyes was clear, a reflection of the love and desperation that drove her. She would find Alex, no matter what it took. The journey was far from over, but she was ready to face it head-on. The taxi deposited her in front of a dilapidated warehouse, its silhouette a jagged scar against the bruised sky. The building loomed ominously, a relic of forgotten times, its windows shattered and walls crumbling. The setting sun cast long shadows, making the structure appear even more foreboding. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of decay and the promise of rain. It was as if the very atmosphere was conspiring to keep secrets hidden within the warehouse's walls. The scent of mold and rust mingled with the faint, acrid smell of something long dead, creating an almost tangible sense of dread. This was a place forgotten by time, a breeding ground for secrets and shadows. The warehouse seemed to pulse with a life of its own, whispering tales of forgotten souls and lost dreams. Every corner, every crevice seemed to hold a story, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to venture inside. This was where she would find the game. The game, a mysterious and dangerous challenge that had claimed many before her. It was said that those who entered rarely emerged unchanged, if they emerged at all. The stakes were high, and the rules were shrouded in mystery.
Taking a deep breath, I pushed open the heavy metal door, its hinges groaning in protest. The sound echoed through the empty space, a haunting reminder of the isolation that awaited inside. The door's resistance felt like a final warning, urging me to turn back, but I pressed on. The interior was cavernous, swallowed by darkness. The vast emptiness seemed to stretch on forever, with only the faintest outlines of forgotten machinery and discarded crates breaking the monotony. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional drip of water from the leaking roof. A single bare bulb cast a sickly yellow glow, revealing walls stained with damp and neglect. The light flickered intermittently, casting eerie shadows that danced across the room. The walls, once vibrant with life and activity, now stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time and the decay that had set in. The air was thick with the smell of dust and something else, something metallic and vaguely sinister. It was a scent that spoke of old blood and rusted metal, of violence and despair. The combination was almost suffocating, making it difficult to breathe. Fear coiled in my stomach, cold and tight. I wasn't alone. The sensation of being watched was overwhelming, as if unseen eyes were tracking my every move. The shadows seemed to shift and move, playing tricks on my mind, heightening my sense of paranoia.
3 figures emerged from the shadows, their faces obscured by the gloom. They moved with a predatory grace, their intentions unreadable. Each step they took seemed to echo with a sense of purpose, a silent declaration of their dominance in this forsaken place. Each one exuded an aura of danger, a palpable tension that crackled in the silence. Their presence was intimidating, a stark reminder of the peril that lay ahead. The air between them was charged, as if a single wrong move could set off a chain reaction of violence. They were players in the game, she realized, their eyes watching her with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. Their gazes were piercing, as if they could see through her facade and into her very soul. The weight of their scrutiny was almost unbearable, but she stood her ground. She had entered their world, a world where the rules were unwritten and the stakes impossibly high. This was a place where trust was a rare commodity and alliances were fleeting. Every decision, every action, could mean the difference between life and death.
A chill ran down my spine. The realization of the gravity of my situation hit me like a tidal wave. I was in over my head, but there was no turning back now, as I met their gaze. Their eyes were cold, calculating, and filled with a silent challenge. It was clear that they were testing me, waiting to see if I would falter. They were all bound by this place, by the secrets it held and the game they were forced to play. The warehouse was more than just a building. It was a prison, a labyrinth of shadows and secrets that ensnared all who entered. I could feel the weight of their past sins, the desperation that clung to them like a shroud. Each one of them carried a burden, a story of regret and loss that had led them to this moment. Their faces, though obscured, spoke volumes of the pain and suffering they had endured. But I had a purpose here, a reason to face my fear. I wasn't just another player. I had a mission, a goal that drove me forward despite the terror that threatened to consume me. I had come for Alex, and I wouldn't leave without him. The thought of him gave me strength, a beacon of hope in the darkness. I would navigate this treacherous game, uncover its secrets, and find him, no matter the cost.
I think I messed up. The weight of the moment was heavy, and the air was thick with tension. The cricket player, usually so composed, felt the pressure mounting. It wasn't just about the game anymore, it was about something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. Uncovering dark secrets usually sounds like fun, until the secrets start uncovering you. The thrill of the unknown can quickly turn into a nightmare when the shadows of the past begin to creep into the present. The cricket player, with every bead of sweat trickling down his face, felt the weight of history pressing down on him. This is Chapter 3, The Mirror's Edge. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the stadium, the stage was set for a tale that would unravel the very fabric of Hollow Creek. In the sleepy town of Hollow Creek, Clara Davis hoped for peace. She had moved here to escape the chaos of her past, seeking solace in the quiet streets and friendly faces. But Hollow Creek had its own secrets, and peace was a luxury she would soon find elusive. But disturbing visions in the town's mirrors had other plans. Every reflective surface seemed to hold a story, a glimpse into a world that was both familiar and terrifying. Clara couldn't shake the feeling that the mirrors were watching her, waiting for the right moment to reveal their dark truths. Faces of the long dead, eerie glimpses of the future. The mirrors showed her things she couldn't explain, faces she had never seen before, yet felt an inexplicable connection to, visions of events that hadn't yet come to pass, but felt inevitable. It was as if the mirrors were a window into a parallel world, one where the past and future collided in a haunting dance. Clara's art couldn't capture the terror she felt. She tried to paint what she saw, to make sense of the chaos through her brushstrokes. But no matter how hard she tried, the fear remained. Her paintings were a pale imitation of the horrors that lurked in the mirrors, a futile attempt to capture the essence of the unknown. Enter Ethan Brooks, the troubled teen next door, with a knack for finding trouble and a soft spot for Clara's art. Ethan was an enigma, a boy with a troubled past and a heart of gold. He saw something in Clara's paintings that no one else did, a reflection of his own fears and dreams. Together, they formed an unlikely bond, united by their shared experiences and a desire to uncover the truth. He introduced her to Ollie Foster, the town's historian, and Rachel Moore, the beloved yet fearful high school teacher. Ollie was a man of knowledge with a deep understanding of Hollow Creek's history. Rachel, on the other hand, was a woman of compassion, always looking out for her students. Together, they formed a team, each bringing their unique skills to the table. Intrigued by Clara's visions, they set out to uncover the town's dark history. The more they dug, the more they realized that Hollow Creek was a town built on secrets. Every corner held a story, every shadow a whisper of the past. They were determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Ollie revealed a chilling truth. Hollow Creek was built over a settlement known for occult practices. The town's history was steeped in darkness, with tales of rituals and sacrifices that sent shivers down their spines. The more they learned, the more they realized that the mirrors were just the tip of the iceberg. The cursed mirror, hidden somewhere in town, showed its viewer their darkest fears. It was a relic from a time long past, a tool used by the occultists to control and manipulate. The mirror had a mind of its own, feeding on the fears and insecurities of those who looked into it. Their search led them to an abandoned mansion, the epicenter of the curse. The mansion was a relic of a bygone era, its walls echoing with the whispers of the past. It was here that the occultists had performed their rituals, and it was here that the mirror's power was at its strongest. Each room in the mansion confronted them with personal horrors. The mansion was a labyrinth of fear, each room a reflection of their deepest insecurities. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding on their terror and growing stronger with each passing moment. Clara saw her abusive past. The memories she had tried so hard to bury came rushing back, each one more painful than the last. The mirror showed her the face of her abuser, a constant reminder of the pain she had endured. Ollie faced the ghosts of those wronged by his research. The faces of those he had inadvertently hurt through his work haunted him, their eyes filled with accusation. He had always believed that knowledge was power, but now he realized that it could also be a curse. Rachel encountered her fear of losing control. The mirror showed her a world where she was powerless, unable to protect her students or herself. It was a nightmare come to life, a reflection of her deepest fears. And Ethan relived moments of isolation. The mirror showed him a world where he was completely alone, abandoned by those he cared about. It was a reflection of his deepest insecurities, a reminder of the pain he had tried so hard to forget. In the attic, they found the cursed mirror. It was covered in dust, its surface cracked and worn. But even in its damaged state, it held a power that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. It twisted their reflections into grotesque versions, feeding on their guilt. The mirror showed them versions of themselves that were twisted and distorted, a reflection of their darkest fears and insecurities. It was a reminder of the pain they had caused and the guilt they carried. Desperate to break free, Clara urged them to confront their pasts and accept their flaws. She knew that the only way to break the mirror's power was to face their fears head-on. It was a daunting task, but one they were determined to undertake. United, they shattered the mirror's power. With a collective effort, they faced their fears and broke the mirror's hold over them. It was a moment of triumph, a victory over the darkness that had plagued them for so long. But the victory was fleeting. The mirror was just a conduit for a greater evil, now awakened. They realized that their battle was far from over. The mirror had been a tool, a means to an end. The true evil was still out there, waiting for the right moment to strike. The mirror was just a conduit for a greater evil, now awakened. The shadows seemed to grow darker, the air thicker with tension. They could feel the presence of something far more sinister, a force that had been awakened by their actions. The mansion collapsed, leaving them narrowly escaping with their lives. The ground shook beneath their feet, the walls crumbling around them. They barely made it out in time, the mansion collapsing into a heap of rubble behind them. Back in Hollow Creek, they were forever changed. The experience had left its mark on them, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. They knew that their lives would never be the same, but they were determined to face whatever came next. They vowed to protect their town from this ancient malevolence, determined to uncover the full extent of the curse and break it for good. They knew that their battle was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next. They had each other, and that was enough. If you want more of Hollow Creek's chilling tales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's so much more to uncover, so many more secrets to reveal. Stay with us as we continue to delve into the mysteries of Hollow Creek. Until next time, stay curious and beware of what looks back at you in the mirror. The mirrors may hold more than just your reflection. They may hold the key to secrets you never wanted to uncover. Stay vigilant and remember the past is never truly behind us.
The night started like any other in Riverton. Crickets chirped, filling the air with their rhythmic song, a familiar lullaby that the townsfolk had grown accustomed to over the years. A dog barked in the distance, its echo bouncing off the silent houses, adding to the symphony of the night. The town was wrapped in a blanket of tranquility, unaware of the impending chaos. Little did anyone know the world was about to change. The peaceful night was merely a prelude to an extraordinary event that would forever alter the course of their lives. Suddenly, a fiery tear ripped across the velvet canvas of the night sky, startling the nocturnal creatures and drawing the eyes of the curious and the unsuspecting alike. Then another, and another. The sky was ablaze with streaks of light, each one more brilliant and awe-inspiring than the last. The meteor shower, a spectacle of awe and wonder, rained down on the unsuspecting town. It was as if the heavens had opened up, showering the earth with celestial fire. But this was no ordinary celestial event. The meteors seemed to carry a message, a warning of things to come. This was the harbinger of something extraordinary, something terrifying. The air was thick with anticipation, and an unspoken fear began to creep into the hearts of those who watched. Sam, Jazz, Mark, and Hannah, 4 friends bound by the innocence of youth, watched the spectacle from the safety of their treehouse haven. Their eyes were wide with wonder, their hearts pounding with excitement and a hint of fear. Each streak of light across the sky carried an unspoken promise, a whisper of change. The children could feel it in their bones, a sense that their lives were on the brink of something monumental. Little did they know their lives were about to be irrevocably intertwined with the secrets of the cosmos. The universe had chosen them, and their destinies were now linked to the stars. As the last meteor blazed its trail across the sky, a strange silence descended upon Riverton. The once lively night was now eerily quiet, as if the world was holding its breath. The air crackled with an unseen energy, a palpable tension that set their hearts racing. It was as if the very fabric of reality was shifting, preparing for the arrival of something beyond comprehension. It was the silence before the storm, the calm before their world turned upside down. The night the sky fell would be remembered not just for its beauty, but for the profound impact it had on the lives of those who witnessed it. Riverton would never be the same again, and neither would Sam, Jazz, Mark, and Hannah. Their journey was just beginning, and the secrets of the cosmos awaited them. If you enjoyed this chapter and want to uncover more of the mysteries that lie ahead, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Your support helps us bring you more incredible stories. Or offer a shoulder to cry on. Her empathy was boundless, and her heart seemed to have an infinite capacity for love and care. After the meteor shower, her empathy deepened into something far more profound, the power to heal. It was as if the universe had bestowed upon her a gift that was both extraordinary and overwhelming. The night of the meteor shower was magical, and as she watched the sky light up with streaks of light, she felt a strange sensation wash over her.
A touch, a word, a simple thought from me could mend broken bones and soothe aching hearts. It was an incredible feeling to know that I could make such a difference in someone's life. The first time I healed someone, it was almost instinctual. A friend had twisted their ankle, and without thinking, I placed my hand on it. Within moments, the pain was gone, and the swelling had disappeared.
The ability to alleviate suffering should have been a blessing, a gift. Hannah thought she'd found her true calling, a way to use her empathy to bring joy and relief to others. She imagined a future where she could travel the world, healing the sick and comforting the distressed. But with every instance of healing, Hannah felt the pain of the other person as if it were her own. The first time it happened, she was taken aback. The sharp, searing pain of a broken bone shot through her arm as she healed a child who had fallen from a tree. She realized that her gift came with a heavy price.
Every broken bone, every ounce of grief, every shred of despair, it flowed through me, leaving me drained and emotionally scarred. The emotional toll was immense. I could feel the weight of their sorrow, the depth of their despair. It was as if their pain became a part of me, and I carried it with me long after the healing was done.
The joy of healing was always outweighed by the crippling weight of the pain she absorbed. Hannah began to dread the moments when someone would come to her for help. She knew she couldn't turn them away, but each act of healing left her more and more depleted. The emotional burden was becoming too much to bear. The vibrant, compassionate girl slowly withdrew, her own spirit burdened by the collective suffering of those she sought to help. She found herself avoiding social gatherings, retreating into solitude. The once lively and outgoing Hannah became a shadow of her former self, her laughter replaced by a quiet, contemplative silence.
My touch, once a source of comfort, became a double-edged sword, a symbol of both my power and the terrible price I paid for it. I began to fear my own abilities, questioning whether the cost was too high. The joy of seeing someone healed was always tainted by the knowledge of the pain I would have to endure.
The world saw a miracle worker, but Hannah saw only the reflection of their pain in her own weary eyes. She struggled with the duality of her gift, the constant battle between the desire to help and the fear of the pain it would bring. In the mirror, she saw not a healer, but a vessel for the suffering of others, and it was a burden that weighed heavily on her soul.
Blackthorn was a town cloaked in perpetual twilight. The sun rarely pierced through the thick, oppressive clouds that seemed to hang over the town like a shroud. A thick fog hung heavy in the air, mirroring the despair that had settled over its inhabitants. The fog was so dense that it seemed to seep into the very bones of the townspeople, chilling them to the core. The once vibrant market square stood deserted, its cobblestones slick with an almost tangible sense of hopelessness. Stalls that once bustled with life and color now stood empty, their wares long since abandoned. The townsfolk, their faces etched with worry and exhaustion, moved like specters through the gloom. Each step they took seemed to be weighed down by an invisible burden, their eyes cast downward as if in search of something they had long lost. At the edge of town, in a ramshackle cottage, lived Elspeth, a gifted healer burdened by a debilitating illness. Her home, once a place of refuge and healing, now stood as a testament to her decline. Her once nimble hands, now gnarled with arthritis, could no longer mend the sick or soothe the suffering. The herbs and potions that had once brought relief now sat unused, gathering dust on her shelves. Her inability to heal, both herself and her community, filled her with a gnawing sense of failure. She spent her days staring out the window, watching the fog roll in and out, feeling as though she were trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Across the muddy lane, Thomas the blacksmith grappled with a different kind of despair. His forge, once a place of strength and creation, now felt like a prison. His burly frame, once brimming with the strength of a dozen men, was now stooped with grief. The clang of his hammer on the anvil, once a comforting rhythm, now echoed hollowly in the empty space. The loss of his wife in a tragic accident had left him with a gaping wound in his heart, and a young son he could barely muster the will to raise. Each day was a struggle, a battle against the overwhelming tide of sorrow that threatened to consume him. And then there was young Anya, her bright eyes dimmed by the weight of her secret. She wandered the streets, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts and ideas that she could share with no one. Gifted with a mind that could unravel the most complex equations, she was ostracized by the very people she yearned to help. Her intelligence, a beacon of hope in the darkness, was met with fear and suspicion. Deemed a witch by the ignorant and fearful, she retreated further into herself, her potential stifled by the suffocating air of prejudice. She spent her days hiding in the shadows, her heart heavy with the knowledge that she could never truly belong in a place that refused to understand her. One night, as the storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil within their hearts, a stranger arrived in Blackthorn. The wind howled through the narrow streets, carrying with it whispers of the unknown and the scent of rain-soaked earth. He appeared at the edge of the forest, a towering figure cloaked in shadows, his eyes burning with an otherworldly light. His presence was both ominous and magnetic, drawing the attention of all who dared to glance his way. The townsfolk, wary of outsiders, watched him from behind their shuttered windows, whispering about curses and dark magic. Fear and curiosity mingled in their hearts as they speculated about the stranger's intentions and the dark powers he might wield. The stranger, unperturbed by their apprehension, made his way to the well at the center of town. His steps were deliberate, each one echoing through the silent streets, as if he were walking to the beat of an ancient, forgotten rhythm. He lowered a silver cup into its depths, the metal gleaming like a beacon in the gloom. The water rippled as the cup descended, reflecting the faint light of the moon that peeked through the storm clouds. As he raised the cup to his lips, the wind seemed to hush, and an unnatural silence descended upon Blackthorn. The air grew thick with anticipation, as if the very village held its breath, waiting for what would come next. Elspeth, drawn by an invisible force, found herself standing before the stranger. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of her own vulnerability and the flicker of hope that had brought her here. Her breath caught in her throat as their eyes met, his gaze piercing through her facade of frailty, seeing the flicker of hope that still resided within her weary heart. She felt exposed, as if he could see every secret she had ever kept, every dream she had ever dared to dream. Thomas, his son clinging to his leg, followed her, a sliver of desperate curiosity cutting through his grief. He had lost so much, and yet something about the stranger's presence stirred a long-buried sense of possibility within him. And Anya, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation, crept closer, her shadow blending with the stranger's. She had always been drawn to the unknown, and now, standing on the precipice of something extraordinary, she felt a thrill of excitement course through her veins.
You seek solace. I offer you power. His voice was a low, resonant whisper, carrying the weight of ancient promises and untold secrets. The villagers, though fearful, felt a spark of hope ignite within them as they stood on the brink of a new dawn.
The stranger, who identified himself as the god of magic, proposed a bargain. His presence was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, a figure cloaked in mystery and power. He would bestow upon them extraordinary abilities, powers beyond their wildest imaginings. These were not mere tricks or illusions, but true, potent magic that could reshape reality itself. But these gifts, he warned, came at a price. The power he offered was not to be taken lightly, and the responsibility that came with it was immense. They would be bound to use their powers for the betterment of Blackthorn, to heal its wounds and restore its former glory. The town, once vibrant and full of life, had fallen into disrepair, and it was their duty to bring it back from the brink. Failure to uphold their end of the bargain would result in unimaginable consequences. The god of magic's warning hung heavy in the air, a reminder of the stakes involved. Elspeth, her hands trembling with a mixture of fear and anticipation, accepted the god of magic's offer. She had always been a healer, But now she would become something more, something extraordinary. A surge of energy coursed through her veins, invigorating her withered body. She felt a warmth spreading from her core, revitalizing every cell, every muscle. The arthritis that had plagued her for years vanished, replaced by a newfound strength. Her fingers, once gnarled and painful, were now nimble and strong. Her touch, once gentle and soothing, now pulsed with a vibrant energy, capable of mending not just flesh and bone, but also the broken spirit of her town. She could feel the potential within her, a power that could bring hope and healing to those in need. Thomas, his eyes filled with a flicker of hope for the first time since his wife's death, stepped forward. He had been a man lost in grief, but now he saw a chance for redemption, a way to honor his wife's memory. He accepted the bargain, his heart heavy with the responsibility it entailed. The weight of his decision was immense, but so was the potential for good. The god of magic touched his forehead, and a wave of power washed over him. It was as if a dam had burst, releasing a torrent of energy that filled him with strength and purpose. His grief, though still present, no longer threatened to consume him. He felt a sense of peace, a calm that had eluded him for so long. He felt a surge of strength, not just physical but emotional, a newfound determination to be a pillar of support for his son and his community. He knew that with this power he could make a difference, not just for himself but for everyone around him. Anya, emboldened by the example of Elspeth and Thomas, stepped into the circle of light. She had always been curious, always seeking knowledge, and now she had the chance to unlock the mysteries of the universe. She accepted the god of magic's offer, her mind buzzing with the possibilities that now lay before her. The potential for discovery, for understanding, was limitless. The magic that had always simmered beneath the surface of her being erupted, amplifying her intellect 1,000-fold. She could feel her mind expanding, her thoughts becoming clearer and more profound. She could see the world with a clarity she had never known, its secrets unfolding before her like chapters in a book. Every question she had ever had now seemed within reach, every mystery ready to be solved. Together, Elspeth, Thomas and Anya formed the foundation of a new era for Blackthorn. Their powers, though different, complemented each other perfectly, creating a synergy that promised to transform their town. The dawn of this new era was not just about magic, but about unity, hope, and the collective strength of a community determined to rise above its challenges. Blackthorn was on the brink of a renaissance, and its people were ready to embrace the future with open hearts and minds. With their newfound abilities, Elspeth, Thomas and Anya set about transforming Blackthorn. Elspeth's healing touch spread throughout the town, mending broken bones, curing illnesses and restoring hope to the hearts of the despairing. The townsfolk, their faces regaining their long-forgotten glow, flocked to her doorstep, their gratitude echoing through the cobblestone streets. The market square, once deserted, buzzed with activity, the air filled with the sounds of laughter and commerce. Thomas, his grief tempered by purpose, poured his newfound strength into rebuilding Blackthorn. He repaired crumbling buildings, constructed sturdy bridges, and erected a towering windmill that harnessed the power of the wind, bringing light and prosperity to the town. His son, inspired by his father's example, blossomed under his care, his laughter a testament to the healing power of hope. Anya, her intellect sharpened by magic, became a beacon of knowledge and innovation. She devised irrigation systems that transformed barren fields into fertile farmland, designed intricate machines that eased the burden of labor, and established a school where she shared her knowledge with the children of Blackthorn, nurturing their curiosity and igniting their imaginations. If you enjoyed this chapter and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, share and like. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening and good night.
Neo-Domino City pulsed with energy, a vibrant heartbeat that never seemed to rest. Duel Monsters was, well, more than a game here. It was life. Skyscrapers displayed holographic duels, and the city thrived on the excitement and passion of its duelists. Kids traded cards in every park, their eyes gleaming with dreams of becoming the next great duelist. The spirit of competition was everywhere, and at the very top, 4 duelists ruled. They were the undisputed champions, the kings and queens of the duel. They were Kai, the master of strategy, wielding his cyber dragons with precision and intellect. His every move was calculated, every card played with purpose. Then there was Anya, the queen of prediction, commanding her spellbooks. She could foresee her opponent's moves, making her nearly unbeatable. Next came Marco, the fiery hothead, who controlled the powerful volcanics. His duels were explosive, filled with passion and intensity. And finally there was Luna, the Ice Queen, who froze her opponents with her ice barriers. Her calm demeanor masked a fierce competitive spirit. They were the best, the elite, but they were also the worst. Their skills were unmatched, but their attitudes left much to be desired. These duelists craved fame and victory. They basked in the adoration of the crowd, their egos growing with every win. They forgot the real spirit of the game, the joy of the duel, the camaraderie, the respect for one's opponent. They treated their cards like tools, mere instruments to achieve their goals. The heart of the game was lost. They saw their opponents as obstacles. Respect was lost. Humility was gone. The essence of duel monsters was fading. They were blinded by their own success, unable to see the path they were on. Their arrogance knew no bounds, and they were about to learn a harsh lesson. The city that once celebrated them would soon challenge them, forcing them to rediscover the true meaning of being a duelist. If you enjoyed this tale of dueling champions, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Join us for more epic stories and thrilling duels. The disrespect was clear. Kai tossed his cards aside after a victory. He never even looked at his defeated opponent. His arrogance was palpable, a stark contrast to the respect the game once commanded. Kai's actions were a slap in the face to the spirit of competition.
Not even worth my time. Kai's words echoed through the hall, a testament to his disdain for anyone he deemed inferior.
Anya smirked at her opponent's strategies. She acted like they were beneath her. Her eyes gleamed with a cold, calculating look, as if she was already planning her next move, dismissing her current opponent as a mere stepping stone.
Is that really the best you can do? Anya's voice dripped with sarcasm, her words cutting deeper than any card could.
Marco yelled at his cards when they failed to perform. He blamed them for his own mistakes. His frustration was a spectacle, a display of his inability to accept his own shortcomings.
Useless! You're all useless! Marco's rage was a common sight, his temper flaring at the slightest hint of failure.
Luna treated her opponents like insects. She never acknowledged their skill. Her sneer was a permanent fixture, a constant reminder of her disdain for those she faced.
Pathetic. You don't even deserve to duel me. Luna's words were a dagger to the heart, her contempt for her opponents evident in every syllable.
Their behavior disgusted the true duelists of Neo-Domino City. The once noble game was now tainted by arrogance and disrespect. The true duelists watched in dismay as the spirit of the game was overshadowed by ego. Neo-Domino City, a place where honor and skill were once revered, was now a battleground of pride and disdain. But no one dared to challenge them. They were too powerful. They were too feared. But everyone knew something had to change. The arrogance was poisoning the game. Little did they know, a change was coming. And it was coming from a power beyond their understanding. A new force was rising, one that would restore the honor and respect the game deserved. The winds of change were beginning to blow, and soon the battlefield would be transformed. A tournament was announced. The prize was a legendary card. It was said to be able to grant any wish. The 4 duelists were instantly hooked. They craved the power. They entered the tournament without hesitation. They won their duels effortlessly. They were unstoppable, or so they thought. In the final round, they were met by a mysterious figure. He called himself the Guardian of Duel Spirits.
You have forgotten the true meaning of duel monsters.
His voice echoed through the stadium.
You have shown disrespect to the cards and your opponents. Now, you shall learn what it means to be a monster.
The ground began to shake. A blinding light engulfed the stadium. When the light faded, the 4 duelists were gone. In their place were 4 monsters. Kai gasped. His breath came in short, panicked bursts as he tried to comprehend what was happening to him. He was no longer human. He was a cyber dragon, his favorite monster from the card game he loved. He felt cold, metallic, and his joints moved with a mechanical precision. His human thoughts were fading, replaced by the cold logic of a machine.
What is happening to me? Why am I like this?
Anya screamed, her voice echoing through the eerie silence of the forest. She was trapped in the form of her spellbook magician. Her skin felt papery, fragile, as if a single tear could rip her apart. Her confidence, once her greatest strength, was now a distant memory.
No, this can't be real. This has to be a nightmare.
Marco roared in anger, his voice a deep, guttural sound that shook the ground beneath him. He was now a volcanic doomfire, his ace monster. He felt the burning rage of the volcano coursing through his veins. His temper was out of control, and he could feel the heat radiating from his body, threatening to consume everything around him.
I can't control this rage. It's like a fire inside me.
Luna shivered, her body trembling uncontrollably as the cold seeped into her bones. She had become her ice barrier dragon. She felt isolated, alone, as if the world had turned its back on her. Her heart was turning to ice, and she could feel the chill spreading through her soul.
I'm so cold, I can't feel my fingers.
They were trapped. The stadium, once filled with the cheers of fans, was gone. The familiar surroundings had vanished, leaving them in a place that was both strange and terrifying. They were in a dark, unfamiliar forest. Trees twisted and groaned around them, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Strange creatures lurked in the shadows, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. The air was thick with magic, a palpable force that pressed down on them. This was the monster realm, and they were trapped inside it with no way out and no idea how they had gotten there. Life as a monster was harsh.
They were no longer at the top.
They were just like any other monster, fighting for survival.
Kai, the cyber dragon, was forced to scavenge for scraps. He missed the comfort of his deck. He realized he had taken his cards for granted.
Anya, the spellbook magician, was hunted by a pack of wild monsters. She learned the true meaning of fear. Her arrogance crumbled.
Marco, the volcanic doomfire, was challenged by a group of smaller monsters. They mocked his size and clumsiness. He realized his anger had made him blind. He had never considered the feelings of others.
Luna, the ice barrier dragon, was left alone in the cold. No one wanted to be near her. She felt the pain of isolation. She realized her coldness had pushed everyone away.
One day, I saw a small monster being bullied. I remembered my own arrogance. I stepped in and defended the little monster. It was a small act, but it filled me with a warmth I hadn't felt in a long time.
I used my magic to heal a wounded monster. I remembered how I used to mock my opponents. Now I felt compassion.
I used my strength to move a fallen tree. I helped a group of monsters cross a raging river. I remembered my own anger. Now I felt the satisfaction of helping others.
I used my powers to create a shelter from a blizzard. I shared my warmth with a group of lost monsters. I remembered my own coldness. Now I felt the joy of connection.
Their acts of kindness did not go unnoticed. The guardian of dual spirits appeared before them. He had been watching.
You have learned your lesson. You have shown empathy and respect, but your trial is not over yet.
He challenged them to a duel. They had to duel as the monsters they had become. They had to prove they understood the true meaning of dual monsters.
You must duel me now.
The duel was long and difficult. They faced the Guardian's powerful monsters. But this time, they didn't just see cards. They saw the spirits within. They dueled with respect and honor. They used their monster's strength to protect each other. They used their weaknesses to learn from each other. And in the end, they won. The Guardian smiled.
You have proven yourselves.
The forest around them dissolved. They were back in the stadium. The crowd gasped. The four duelists were back in their human forms, but they were different. Their arrogance was gone. Their eyes were filled with humility and understanding. They thanked the Guardian for the lesson. They apologized for their behavior.
Go now and spread the true spirit of duel monsters.
The crowd erupted in cheers. They had witnessed a miracle. They had seen the transformation of their heroes. The four duelists walked out of the stadium. They were no longer focused on fame or victory. They had a new mission. They traveled across Neo-Domino City. They visited schools and parks. They talked to young duelists. They shared their story. They taught them the importance of respect. Respect for the cards. Respect for the opponents. Respect for the game. Slowly, the dueling community began to change. Duelists treated their cards with care. They congratulated their opponents, win or lose. They remembered that Duel Monsters was more than just a game. It was a way to connect with others. It was a way to learn and grow. And it all started with 4 arrogant duelists who learned a valuable lesson in the monster realm. The end. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Neo-Domino City, a place where dreams are built on the foundations of steel and glass. A jungle of steel and glass, where the lights never dim and the hustle never stops. But beneath the glittering surface, shadows lurked, hiding stories untold and lives unseen. 6 souls, lost and forgotten, called these shadows home. Kai, the hot-headed leader with a fiery spirit. Maya, the cunning strategist with a mind as sharp as a blade. Javier, the silent observer who saw everything but spoke little. Anya, the fierce protector who would do anything for her friends. Kenji, the agile trickster with a knack for getting out of tight spots. And Lena, the heart of their makeshift family, whose kindness held them together. They were more than just street kids. They were a family, bound not by blood, but by shared struggles and dreams. Each possessed a hidden lineage, a dormant power waiting to be unleashed. Powers that could change their fate, their only solace in the harsh reality? Beyblade. A game that was more than just a pastime. The spinning tops were more than toys to them. They were weapons, they were dreams, they were a way to escape, even if just for a moment. One night, whispers of a tournament reached their ears. A tournament that promised more than just glory. An underground battle with a life-altering prize. A chance to escape the streets. A chance to change their destinies. But the whispers also spoke of ancient forces and dangerous secrets. Secrets that could either save them or destroy them. For these 6, it was a gamble they had to take. A risk worth everything. They had nothing to lose except the chains of their past. Chains that had held them back for too long. They stepped into the darkness, ready to spin their destinies, ready to face whatever came their way. Little did they know, their world was about to change forever. The journey they were about to embark on would test their limits, challenge their beliefs, and ultimately define who they were meant to be. The rumors led them to the pit, a dilapidated warehouse pulsating with energy. The air crackled, the ground vibrated. This was no ordinary tournament. A figure emerged from the shadows. Mr. S, they called him. His eyes, cold and calculating, scanned the crowd. He spoke, his voice a low growl. "Welcome, contenders. You are here for glory. You are here for power." The rules were simple, brutal. A single elimination tournament. Winner takes all. Losers? They didn't want to find out. But the prize, a chance to have their deepest desire granted. This was their ticket out, their shot at a future. Fear gnawed at their courage, but their dreams burned brighter. They were ready to fight. If you want more, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. The crowd roared, the air thickened, the first Beyblades clashed. The earth trembled with every impact. These were not ordinary battles. These were displays of raw, untamed power. Each victory revealed a piece of the puzzle. Their Beyblades, seemingly ordinary, pulsed with an ancient energy. It resonated within them, awakening something primal. Kai's rage ignited a fiery aura around his Beyblade, incinerating his opponents. Maya's cunning drew on unseen forces, manipulating the very arena around her. As the tournament raged, so did the storm within them. Their past, their pain, it fueled their every move. With each victory, fragments of their past surfaced, revealing more about their hidden heritage and the ancient powers they possessed. Visions, whispers of ancient bloodlines, and echoes of long-forgotten ancestors haunted their dreams and waking moments. They were more than just survivors. They were warriors bound by fate and blood, united by a common purpose. They were descendants of legendary warriors, their lineage traced back to the great heroes of old, whose stories were etched in the annals of history. Kai, the descendant of dragons, his anger a reflection of his fiery heritage. His power was as fierce as the flames that burned within him, a force of nature that could not be tamed. Maya, the last of the sirens, her cunning a testament to her manipulative lineage. She wielded her charm like a weapon, bending the will of those around her to achieve her goals. Javier descended from the condor, his silence masking a keen intellect and sharp instincts. He saw what others missed, his mind as sharp as the talons of his ancestor. Anya, the legacy of the bear, lived within her, her strength a shield for those she loved. Her courage was unyielding, her resolve as solid as the earth beneath her feet. Kenji, quick and cunning like the serpent, his agility unmatched. He moved with a grace and speed that left his enemies bewildered, striking with precision and disappearing into the shadows. And Lena, the heart of their group, possessed a hidden strength, a healing touch that mended not just wounds but spirits. Her compassion was a beacon of hope, her light guiding them through the darkest times. Their powers were awakening, growing stronger with each passing day, but at what cost? The echoes of their bloodlines carried a heavy burden, a destiny that could not be ignored. Section 5. Kai, the Dragon's Fury. Kai's battles were explosive. Each victory fueled his rage, his Beyblade becoming an extension of his anger. He fought like a cornered animal, ferocious and unpredictable. He dominated, his opponents crumbling before his fiery onslaught. But with each win, the dragon within him grew stronger, threatening to consume him. His friends saw the change. The warmth in his eyes flickered, replaced by a burning rage. He craved victory, yes, but at what cost? Could he tame the dragon within, or would it consume him entirely? Section 6. Maya, the Siren's Song. Maya, always the strategist, used her cunning to manipulate her opponents. Her Beyblade danced with an ethereal grace, her movements fluid, almost hypnotic. She controlled the flow of battle, her opponents falling prey to her subtle deceptions. But the Siren's power was a double-edged sword. It whispered to her, tempting her with promises of ultimate control. She could have it all, it said, with just a little more power. Could she resist the allure of ultimate power, or would she succumb to the siren's call, sacrificing her empathy for absolute control? Section 7. Javier, the Condor's Flight. Javier, the silent observer, fought with a calculated precision. His Beyblade soared through the air, mimicking the flight of his ancestors. He analyzed his opponent's weaknesses, exploiting them with deadly accuracy. The Condor's vision allowed him to see the flow of battle, predicting his opponent's moves before they made them. But this heightened awareness came at a price. He saw the darkness within the pit, the malevolent undercurrent orchestrating the tournament. He saw the strings that controlled them all. Could he warn his friends without becoming a target himself? Anya fought with unwavering determination. Her Beyblade was a whirlwind of brute force, a testament to the bear's strength that flowed through her veins. She was a protector, her every move designed to shield her friends from harm. But the bear's power came with a fierce possessiveness. It urged her to isolate her loved ones, to keep them safe by any means necessary. This protectiveness threatened to suffocate the very people she vowed to protect. Could she find a balance between protecting her friends and respecting their freedom? Kenji, the agile trickster, fought with unmatched speed. His Beyblade darted and weaved, striking from the shadows with deadly precision. He was a master of misdirection, using his opponent's weaknesses against them. But the serpent's guile whispered to him, tempting him with shortcuts, with winning at any cost. It urged him to abandon his friends, to prioritize his own survival above all else. Could he stay true to his loyalties, or would the serpent's whispers lead him down a path of betrayal? The tournament raged on, each victory chipping away at their humanity. The power they wielded was intoxicating, addictive. It promised them everything they ever desired. Mr. S watched, a sinister smile playing on his lips. He had seen it all before. The desperation, the hunger for power, the inevitable fall from grace. He knew their secrets, their weaknesses. He controlled the game, manipulating them towards their inevitable destinies. But he underestimated their bond. They were more than just competitors. They were family, and family, they were about to discover, was worth more than any power. The final battle, Kai versus Maya, dragon against siren. The stakes had never been higher, and the tension was palpable. The arena crackled with raw energy, a testament to the power both combatants wielded. Their friends watched from the sidelines, their hearts pounding in their chests, each beat echoing the gravity of the moment. This was it. The culmination of their struggles, their sacrifices, and their unwavering determination. But something was different this time. The whispers of power, the seductive promises that had once filled their minds, they were gone. The dark allure that had tempted them at every turn had vanished, replaced by a profound realization. They had a choice that went beyond the immediate battle, beyond the thirst for victory. They could claim ultimate power, sacrificing their humanity in the process. The temptation was strong, the promise of unparalleled strength and dominance almost irresistible. Or they could choose each other, embracing their flaws, their vulnerabilities. They could choose to remain true to themselves, to the bonds they had forged, and to the love that had grown between them. In that moment of clarity, they made their choice. They chose humanity. They chose love. They chose family. It was a decision that transcended the battle, a decision that defined who they were and who they wanted to be. The power within them subsided, the whispers fading into silence. The dark temptations that had once clouded their minds were no more. They had won, not the tournament, but something far greater, their souls. They had triumphed over the darkness within, emerging victorious in the most meaningful way possible. Their journey had led them to this moment, and they had chosen the path of light.
Ten youths transform into the Shadow Lords, each harboring deep scars from life's cruelest tragedies, casting them as the world's most formidable villains out of dire circumstance. In a realm of hope, the same souls live as the luminaries, shining examples of heroism, ready to embark on a quest to save their darker selves. The Shadow Lords meet their counterparts with skepticism, but the luminaries persevere, eager to reveal the true potential stolen by fate's cruel hand. The luminaries unfurl memories of joy and love, attempting to expose a hidden layer of humanity beneath the Shadow Lord's anger. Intense exchanges ensue as the Shadow Lords contest the luminaries' optimism, painting stark realities of despair and irrevocable loss. 20 uncaring gods watch the struggle, gleeful over their twisted game as the Shadow Lords risk everything for a sliver of redemption. Each clash between Shadow Lords and luminaries intensifies, revealing untold potential within each strike, each heroic defense, each moment of pain. As the final battle looms, every choice, every sacrifice, sharpens the line between succumbing to darkness or embracing the light within. Beyond victory lies reflection and growth. Shadow Lords glimpse hope, and luminaries face the limits of salvation. Foes turned allies, the Shadow Lords and luminaries embark on a shared path towards healing, defying the gods' expectations.
Have you ever imagined heroes safeguarding history? The Time Traveler Patrol, an elite all-female team, defends time's integrity from those attempting to rewrite it. Their advanced tech is mind-blowing. They can erase and repair memories, fix time damage, and resurrect the dead to maintain historical accuracy. Elara, the telekinetic and telepathic leader, makes strategic moves with composure. Her empathy and intel gather skills earn deep team respect. Nina's time manipulation and super strength make her formidable. She battles with personal loss, her heart harboring hope for renewed love. Valeria, the modern-day witch wielding magical forces, juggles a complex love life with her versatile abilities and wise guidance. Sophia's speed and flight powers make her a whirlwind of force. A poignant romance tests the strength of her heart and powers. Maya, immortal with regeneration powers, experiences tragic love. Her unbreakable spirit challenges the enduring nature of love against time's tide. Facing the Harbinger, the team races to fix his historical disruptions. They must navigate deadly traps and reverse his chaotic alterations. As the team prevents timeline changes, their love lives entwine with their mission, balancing between deep connections and duty's demands. The Guardians of Time, triumphing over the Harbinger, reveal a broader conspiracy. Their unity, tested and fortified, steels them for ongoing battles.
10 players were absorbed in the virtual world, ignoring their bleak realities. They thrived in chaos, unbeknownst to the sinister twist awaiting their cruel, selfish existences. Startled awake, not in the real world, but an endless void, their virtual avatars come to life. Confusion turns to fear as a godly figure approaches. "You've lived lives of misery, spreading pain," boomed Eraser XP Fixerman's voice, declaring their judgment and igniting a deep, dreadful realization within them. Dropped into a bustling city stripped of their digital deity's power, the group faces a stark reality. Pain awaits every cruel act, one they're doomed to endure. Immortality, cursed with relentless pain, they face a torturous catch. Their relief lies in acts of kindness, a virtue foreign and untapped within their tormented souls. As the world around them thrives, they are ensnared in an agonizing existence. They can only watch as the life they envied unfolds beyond their reach. The relentless torment drives Kara to her breaking point. She learns that the balm to her suffering lies in the long-despised act of kindness, a life-changing revelation. Eraser, Fixer. Man returns, casting a foreboding shadow as he presents their final test: cooperation or eternal pain. Time to confront their selfishness or change. The ultimate dilemma: save the bullied soul they had once tormented. Failure to show compassion promises a grim fate, a concept too real to ignore. With their demons at their heels, the group stands teetering on the brink of redemption. Their choices in this digital hell will seal their destiny.
The 10 students stand at the brink of a world where eras intertwine, hearts racing with the thrill of uncharted love. Maya envisions dalliances with a Victorian artist, while Ayla ponders a love affair with a roaring 20s flapper. Thrilled by the historic atmospheres, they traverse epochs, from Renaissance markets to lively jazz clubs and royal courts. Maya and Cecilia form a destined romance in Victorian London, a love blossoming against societal constraints and time itself. Ayla finds Daisy, capturing her heart with laughter and dance as they swing through the fleeting moments of 1920s nightlife. Reality strikes when they learn of the harsh conditions, return regularly, or risk erasure of their love and existence across time. Choosing love over fear, they vow to face the godly trials together, taking on risks most would never dare to confront. Individually challenged, the 10 must face their deepest flaws in the trial of selflessness, forging paths through personal past and regrets. Triumphing over the trial of purity, each surrenders something dear, proving sincere love made through ultimate personal sacrifices. Standing before the God of love and time, they embrace their reward, an eternal love that defies time, a gift and a curse. With time transcended, they reunite with their lovers, creating a present defined by unwavering love, sustained across centuries' embrace.
Ever sensed a cosmic shift? The Power Ranger goddesses, eternal guardians of balance, are about to trade their celestial view for an earthly experience. Landing on Earth, the goddesses stir the Earth Environment Patrol Rangers. Their coincidental encounter sparks an unforgettable chapter for both groups. Samantha, leader of EEP Rangers, confronts the divine visitors, her skepticism crumbling. The goddesses express their intention to learn the human way. The goddesses struggle with human basics, like hunger and exhaustion. They find the complexity and beauty in the ordinariness of human life. As the goddesses delve into human emotions, they form profound bonds with the Rangers, learning about affection, fear, and the human spirit. Celeste discovers the complexity of human love and attraction with Alex, grappling with the vulnerabilities of a heart that can now break. The goddesses face a new reality of mortality, wearing human exhaustion and vulnerability like armor in battles they never imagined fighting. Through tears, compassion, and shared vulnerability, Kira learns the richness of human emotions with Rachel, growing unbreakable bonds. An ancient darkness challenges the now mortal goddesses, testing their courage and resolve. Fighting as humans, they forge a new kind of bravery. After years of earthly experiences, the goddesses return to the cosmos, leaving a legacy of love and strength that transcends worlds and time.
8 friends, branded as outcasts, find solace in their world of fantasy, their dungeon refuge from the real-life monsters at school. In the heart of darkness and despair, a mysterious figure emerges, offering them an unimaginable power, their thoughts made flesh. The god's gift is clear: imagine, and it shall be so. But a stern warning hangs heavy. Their creations could turn on them. Hesitantly, the friends test their powers. Bodies transform, acne clears, they're invincible. But the ghosts of past pains linger still. From bitter torment, vengeful phantoms are born. Their bullies brought low, a delicious reversal, but their control begins to fray. Their creations rebel, turning on them with malevolent glares. The power they coveted now seeds the grounds of madness. Nightmares slip through the seams of sleep, making a play for reality. Trust crumbles, the god's cautionary echo becomes a scream. They vanish, meeting gruesome ends. Monsters of their mind's design loom over them, as reality and nightmares irreversibly entwine. A desperate plea for redemption goes unanswered. Their own creations, now puppet masters, they face a final, grisly confrontation. The friend's legacy is a cautionary tale whispered through Greythorn. Imagination's limitless power can bear a cursed fruit.
In the infinite expanse of existence, 10 cosmic entities emerged as the second creation. They were beings of unimaginable power, capable of bending time, space, and reality. They shaped galaxies, destroyed worlds, and rebuilt multiverses. Yet their greatest gift was also their curse, their minds. For all their omnipotence, they carried the weight of eternity, the lives they ended, the multiverses they destroyed, and the atrocities they committed in pursuit of balance. Enter the Smile Entity's Punisher, a being of pure psychological torment. Unlike the cosmic entities, it thrived on fear, regret, and guilt. It had no form, no face, but its presence was unmistakable. It infiltrated the psyche, twisting memories and amplifying guilt until its victims spiraled into madness. For millennia, it watched the 10 entities from afar, waiting for the moment to act. When they destroyed a fledgling multiverse, it decided it was time. The chapter begins with the 10 entities sensing an unfamiliar disturbance, a flicker of something they couldn't identify. At first, they dismissed it as a minor anomaly, but soon, they began to experience strange occurrences. Visions of their past atrocities appeared before them, vivid and unrelenting. They heard the voices of the countless lives they had extinguished, felt the pain and suffering they had caused. One by one, they began to unravel, haunted by their own actions. Navora, who had once annihilated an entire galaxy to save another, began seeing the faces of those she had killed in every star. Zephyr, the most stoic of the group, started hearing whispers accusing him of crimes he didn't remember committing. Kairos, the trickster, found himself unable to control his own illusions as they turned against him. The Smile Entity's Punisher was breaking them, not through brute force, but through their own minds, exploiting their deepest fears and regrets. The entities convened to discuss the strange phenomenon, but paranoia had already taken root. Accusations flew as they began to suspect one another of being responsible for the torment. The Punisher's influence grew stronger, using their insecurities and guilt to sow discord. To fight back, the entities tried to anchor themselves to reality by creating a mind fortress, a shared mental space where they could confront the Punisher together. But even here, the Punisher infiltrated their defenses. In one particularly chilling moment, the group encountered an apparition of a child, one of the billions of lives they had erased. The child smiled at them, a hollow, eerie grin, and spoke in a voice that was not its own. "You cannot undo what you have done. You are monsters, and I am here to punish you." The apparition's words cut deep, amplifying their guilt and fear, making them question their very existence and purpose. As the torment intensified, the entities began to question their own existence. Were they truly the second creation, or were they simply mistakes destined for destruction? The Punisher fed on their doubts, growing stronger with each passing moment. Leora, the most compassionate, tried to reason with the Punisher, but her attempts only resulted in her confronting the multiverse she had accidentally destroyed. Kale, who prided himself on logic, began to see his mind fracture. Nyx, the fearless warrior, broke down when faced with the ghosts of those she had killed in battle. Their unity crumbled, leaving each entity isolated in their personal nightmare. The Punisher's influence was relentless, exploiting their deepest fears and regrets. The entities were left vulnerable, their once formidable power rendered useless against the psychological torment. They were trapped in a cycle of guilt and despair, unable to escape the weight of their own sins. In the climactic moments of the chapter, the remaining fragments of the entity's sanity rallied together. They realized that their only chance of defeating the Punisher was to confront their guilt head-on. Instead of running from their past, they embraced it, acknowledging the horrors they had committed. They poured their collective energy into creating a manifestation of their shared guilt, a being of pure light and darkness. This entity became their weapon against the Punisher. The battle was won, but the cost was immense. The entities were left broken, their minds scarred beyond repair. They had survived, but the Punisher's words lingered, haunting them as they returned to the void. The chapter closes with the entities retreating into solitude, unable to face each other or the worlds they had shaped. The final line reads, "In the vast expanse of existence, power is meaningless if you cannot master your own mind. Even gods cannot escape their sins."
Imagine receiving a black envelope promising wealth beyond your wildest dreams. 30 individuals, notorious for their despicable actions, are chosen to participate in the hot tide of Evolve Games. The invitation comes with a chilling clause. Riches come at a price, and in this game, the price is blood. Despite the ominous warning, the allure of the reward proves irresistible. All 30 participants accept, finding themselves transported to a massive dystopian arena. The arena is a nightmarish blend of universes, merging reality and fiction. Participants are thrown into different worlds, from a zombie apocalypse to colossal battles against titans, whimsical yet deadly realms of Digimon and Pokemon, and high-stakes duels of Yu-Gi-Oh! Each round is a brutal test, designed to exploit their weaknesses, tempt their greed, and challenge their ability to work together or betray each other. The stakes are high, and the cost of failure is death. The rules are simple yet brutal. Kill to earn. 1 million for killing another participant, 10 million for killing a god, 30 million and a luxury car for killing a frontman, and 100 million and a mansion for killing a kingman or queenmaker. The ultimate prize is a wish granted by the Beyonder for defeating the game's masters, supernatural beings, gods, demons, Ultraman, and cosmic entities. Any rule violation results in a brutal death, turning the violator into a soulless god or frontman. The participants are a volatile mix of personalities: the manipulative gambler, the predator, the broken survivor, the ambitious dreamer, the coward, and the hidden ally. Their interactions are chaotic, filled with alliances, betrayals, and unexpected moments of humanity amid the carnage. Each character brings their own unique strengths and weaknesses to the game, creating a dynamic and unpredictable environment. As the games progress, their true natures are revealed, leading to shocking twists and turns. In round 1, participants are dropped into a world overrun by the undead. They must survive for 100 hours or eliminate the source of the outbreak. The round tests their ability to strategize and fight as a group, But paranoia leads to betrayal. As the undead close in, alliances crumble, and the participants' true natures are revealed. The struggle for survival becomes a test of both physical and mental endurance, pushing them to their limits. Round 2 transports participants to the Attack on Titan universe. Forced to face Titans, they receive enhanced weapons but must work together to kill every Titan before time runs out. The stakes are raised as participants realize the Titans are sentient and remember their deaths. The round tests their ability to cooperate under extreme pressure, with the ever-present threat of betrayal looming over them. Each kill brings them closer to survival, but also to their own moral reckoning. In round 3, participants enter the Digimon Arena, a deceptively playful round where they bond with Digimon partners. However, the Digimon turn feral, forcing players to either destroy their companions or die. The round tests their emotional resilience and ability to make difficult choices. As the Digimon become increasingly dangerous, participants must confront their own attachments and the harsh reality of the game. The bonds they form are both a strength and a vulnerability. Round 4 is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel to the death. Participants must duel using magical cards representing their own sins. Losing a duel results in their greatest regret being manifested and killing them. The round is a psychological test, forcing participants to confront their past actions and the consequences of their sins. Each duel is a battle not just of skill, but of inner demons. The stakes are personal and profound, with each loss bringing a haunting reminder of their darkest moments. In round 5, the survivors face the cosmic abyss, confronting cosmic entities representing moral failings like greed, wrath, and lust. Defeating them requires confronting their darkest truths, but most succumb to their weaknesses. The round is a test of inner strength and moral fortitude, pushing participants to their breaking points. As they face these cosmic beings, they must grapple with their own humanity and the choices that led them here. The abyss reflects their deepest fears and desires. The final round brings the last few participants face to face with the Beyonder. They are given a choice: kill each other and win unimaginable wealth and power, or sacrifice themselves to end the games forever. The chapter ends on a chilling cliffhanger as the final decision is made, leaving readers questioning the morality of humanity and the true nature of redemption. The ultimate test of character and morality unfolds, with the fate of the participants and the games hanging in the balance.